Good morning and welcome to our second annual State of the School address. We actually began this last year following our accreditation and our strategic plan. The idea of the State of the School is to actually give an update to our strategic plan. We published our strategic plan in May of 2017. It had been approved by the board. We revealed it to the community. And basically, it is a guide, a path forward as to what we are working on, what we'll be doing as a school straight through 2023, which also aligns with our next accreditation opportunity. So this morning, we are actually filming this presentation to be able to put it on our website so that others can watch at their convenience within our community. This morning we'll have 6 presenters, myself, 4 administrators, and then Brian Cullen, our board chair, who will share updates on our 6 priorities of our strategic plan. Strategic plan itself is based on 6 priorities, pillars, if you will, and in these 6 priority areas, we outline the different things that are important, the values, if you will, that we have in the school, and our endeavors as we move forward and the things we're going to do, both academically, in terms of facilities, certainly in terms of finance, and then we'll finish with one that's important to everybody, and that is school safety and security. So to begin, our first 2 sections of our strategic plan, since we're a school, have to do with our academic program and our student experience. And so our first 2 administrators to present are our 2 academic administrators, Jen Green, lower school director, and Dan Rosenberg, our middle school director. Jen and Dan?
All right. Thank you for having us here. We're excited to share with you some updates for our educational program. So first, we are looking at our educational program. Our first goal was all around applying the most innovative strategies and research and learning theories. So there are 3 examples of things we've implemented as a faculty. One is professional learning communities. As part of our teacher evaluation system, there is a year where teachers really engage with one another in professional learning communities. For example, last year, there was a group of teachers and faculty who studied happiness. This impacted our summer reading program and the faculty as a whole. This year, we have a group of teachers, cross-divisional, that are really looking at the integration of arts into our interdisciplinary units and how they are everywhere and can be enhanced in our program. Also, our science teachers worked together to really look at innovative and engaging spaces as related to our future build. Additionally, in the lower school, we have an instructional coach. We are in the 3rd year of having an instructional coach. At this point this year, she has worked with 17 lower school faculty members, and she works with them through coaching cycles. At this point in her 3rd year, Kristen Deal, our instructional coach, has worked with every teacher in the lower school, either through individual coaching or through group coaching as related to curriculum. Additionally, our teachers are really engaged in professional development. Dan, Jason, and I meet regularly to review teacher requests, and this first semester, we awarded over 50 opportunities for teachers to take on professional development and come back and engage with those opportunities as they connect to our curriculum and growth as a school. Additionally, Goal 1.2 really looks at vertical and horizontal alignment. This is the work we've done really helping all 3 grade level teachers in the lower school or departments as it relates to our specialists and middle school teachers in growing their curriculum and making sure that journey of a student is really aligned. A lot of this work is done during our faculty meetings and in giving our teachers time to engage with one another. The evidence of this work really is in what we call curriculum mapping, and we are working on ways to make those efforts more transparent to parents. Additionally, one of the things we're focused on, especially in the lower school, is the evolution of traditions. Two of the great examples we have in lower school this year are the change from Pioneer Day in first grade into our Ancient Civilizations Day, and also looking at our Heritage Project in second grade and the addition of the Ellis Island experience. So these are ways in which we look at and value our Pegasus traditions, but also innovate and be more creative.
Thank you, Jen. Good morning, everyone. In middle school, a key element has been the increase in our computer science offerings. A couple years ago, we hired Kathy DeBest to teach computer science. We now offer required computer science classes in 6th, 7th, and 8th grades, and have significantly increased the number of computer science electives. We've also had the opportunity to really grow our robotics team. Our team has been incredibly successful, participating in numerous competitions and coming back with prizes, including beating several high school level teams, which has been very impressive. We've also increased the number of elective offerings that we have in middle school, certainly in the area of computer science, but also in academic areas as well as in the arts. And then speaking to Goal 1.4, we've been very blessed to have had 2 new hires this year, Allison Engler Carlson as our school psychologist, and Christine Lopez as our school counselor, both of whom are doing great work with our kids. Allison works principally with lower school and Christine with middle school. However, both women do cross over with divisions and are available not only to all of our students pre-K through 8, but also to parents and teachers as well. And both have done a great job with all of those constituent groups in providing extra levels of support for our student body.
Great. And our next pillar is all about a transformative student experience. This encompasses the whole experience of a child at Pegasus, whether in the classroom, out of the classroom, through our sports programs, through the ways we interact with each other on the playground, and also the services that are available to you as parents to really think about supporting your whole child.
And so thank you to Shalini Matina, who designed these infographics that you'll see throughout this presentation. You'll see that we really are trying our best to create opportunities also not only for that academic growth, but also for character education. That's certainly a core element of our school program. We want our kids to be ready for high school and beyond, not only in terms of having the intellectual skills, but also being the kind of people who we want them to be. You can see up here that we have numerous students who participate in ASB, which is our Associated Student Body, our equivalent of Student Council. We've had multiple assemblies this year highlighting character education. You can see the NED show is the graphic there in the top right corner. Hopefully earlier this month you saw the push page and linked videos to Alvin Law. In January we started off the year in middle school with the Compassionate program for middle school, and every year we bring Coach Tyler back for at least one presentation on character, and it's something that we really are also enforcing through our social emotional learning program taught by Christine Lopez, the school counselor, as well as through an increase in the work that we're doing in our middle school advisory program. All of our sports programs encourage kids to lead through being captains, and our 8th graders have done a great job in those roles. We offer middle school community service. We require 10 hours per year and provide opportunities to parents as well as doing service throughout the year in collaboration with the PTO. We had on Halloween, certainly, we had the food bank, and then we have Spring Serve coming up next month. And certainly there are opportunities for lower school students as well to engage in collaborative opportunities that require teamwork, including Bob and the Shakespeare Club that are listed there as well.
And next, we're looking again at that transformative student experience, and we really want to think about balance and well-being of our students. You should know that we have a very active working SEL committee, which is that social emotional learning strand. Our students both took the Panorama survey in grades 3 through 8 for us to really be thinking about student data and how we can use that to grow our programming and best support students, in addition, of course, to anecdotal data from our teachers. So this year, middle school launched an enhanced advisory program led by teachers and by our new school counselor. Additionally, every student in middle school does take a specific SEL class at some point this year. Additionally, in the lower school, all students in grades 4 and 5 take a health and wellness class that is taught by Hayden Morris alongside Allison Engler Carlson, our educational psychologist. Additionally, Allison's work has really centered on getting to know every student in the lower school. She pushes into our pre-K and kindergarten classroom currently and also does friendship groups in grades 1 through 3. Additionally, Dan mentioned this already, but we are really kind of trying to highlight and promote this work through school-wide and division-specific assemblies.
Athletics is certainly another component of our school program. We really believe strongly in educating the whole child, and that includes not only academics, but also the arts, the social emotional piece that has been touched upon, and athletics. And we're very proud of the program that we have under the leadership of Chrissy Bridges, our Athletics and Activities Director. You can see here the number of students who participate on a variety of teams. We've been very successful, not just in terms of wins and losses, but also in real growth. And we have a fabulous roster of coaches who not only teach the kids the athletic skills, but also the skills that go along with that: teamwork, collaboration, hard work, being able to win gracefully, being able to lose with dignity, and to really grow as a team. And we're very fortunate that we've added more to our DSL program. We now have football, volleyball, soccer, basketball, and golf. In our variety of grade levels, our sports program works with grades 4 through 8, including the mini seasons that we have in the fall, and numerous faculty have gotten an opportunity to work with kids in a different way through the after-school sports program. And it's now our pleasure to turn things over to our Director of Human Resources, Kelly Young, who's going to talk about the next priority and outstanding professional faculty. Thank you for your time this morning.
Good morning. So Priority 3 takes a look at our faculty and what we are doing for them to ensure that we have the best people in the classroom working with your students. So we have a couple of goals within it. The first really is looking at our onboarding and our mentoring program. So we've had a mentoring program in place now for a couple of years. Kristen Deal and I are the current leads for the program. And this last year we had, or for our current year rather, we have 28 mentors who are serving in those roles. And that's to assist our 19 new hires that we had. It also extends out to our long-term substitutes when we have those, as well as individuals that we had that started mid-year last year for the 17-18 school year who didn't have a chance to go through that orientation process. So they were assigned a mentor this year, and that carried through to assist them in the current year. For our orientation, we really broke it down into 2 days. The first was a community and culture day, and the second was more of a nuts and bolts. So some examples of things that we did is we really took a look at our mission statement, each line of what that mission statement was, what it meant, and we kind of had the individuals draw pictures of what they envisioned that mission was. We looked at the admission video through the students' eyes to get a glimpse of what our students are experiencing here at the school. We looked at effective partnerships between the teachers and the TAs to really make sure that there was a good team in the classroom for the students. We did a campus scavenger hunt that looked at important places on campus. Where are different offices? Where's our CMPR, our theater, different spaces that you need to kind of know and be aware of. And then we also had time with our technology to really look at the devices that they would be using to make sure that individuals knew how to use them. In terms of evaluations, every employee on campus does go through a formal evaluation process. For our teachers, we're in the second year of a program that we launched, and they will fall into one of 3 categories, either an evaluation cycle, a reflection cycle, or a study cycle. So for the evaluation, anyone who's new to Pegasus, their first 3 years are going to be part of that evaluation cycle just to make sure that they're really following and adhering to the standards that we have here at the school. In the reflection year, they work with a partner teacher and focus on an aspect of teaching. It can either be classroom-centric, student-centric, or possibly another area of teaching that they haven't worked a lot in and they want to grow. And then lastly is our study year, and that is working with a cohort to really find a topic that's of interest, whether it be assessments, a book read like Jen mentioned, anything that's kind of an interest for that group. And then for our TAs, last year we began the workings of a pilot program for a TA evaluation system, and this is our first year of implementing it. And really the purpose of that is to create and strengthen an effective partnership between the teacher and the TA, which leads to a safe environment for student learning, growth, and success. And so what our TAs are doing is they set an own personal goal as well as a goal with their teacher, and then they work on that throughout the year. If that goal is achieved, they have the chance to create a new one to continue that process. And then at the end of the year, either a division director or our auxiliary coordinator are the ones that are doing that formal evaluation kind of based on all the feedback through the year. And then lastly is just kind of a snapshot of faculty experience that we have here for our individuals at the school, taking note that half of our employees or half of our teachers do hold advanced degrees. Next up is Jen DeGrave, our Director of Advancement.
Thank you, Kelly. Good morning, everyone. I'm Jen DeGrave, and I'm going to share a few ways that partnership with parents benefits our whole Pegasus community outside of the classroom. I am delighted to start with professional development because this is something Pegasus does really, really well. Every year we have a variety of on-campus opportunities, both for the whole school and by division. And additionally, every employee is really encouraged to seek professional development opportunities off campus as well. So this might mean a nearby workshop with local schools. This might be a national conference with people from all over the country. This chart's a little funny because it reads right to left, but if you read it right to left, it shows year over year, the last 5 school years, an increased financial investment from the school in our teachers' professional development. So this is possible because of the annual fund. So I am very happy to say thank you. It's your generosity to the annual fund that provides these invaluable opportunities for our teachers. Priority 4 is all about continuing to develop our incredible community with an emphasis on inclusivity. So here we have a few examples of invitations, and we really hope that you have taken advantage of some, if not many, of these really great ways to get involved at Pegasus. The first 3 are your annual fund dollars in action. All of them are really great ways to get involved and participate. So in the spring, you can look forward to the Volunteer Appreciation Social. We have coffees all year long. We have Peg Talks, isn't even listed on here, and our Wednesday morning coffees at the gate. All invitations to you as parents to come join and be a part of things here at Pegasus. And then finally, some stats on our school communications. We have made great strides this year in growing our social media presence and our social media following. So if you don't follow us, please follow us. And if you are at home or later if you're reviewing this presentation from your home computer, you'll see that there are many clickable elements to this slide, and actually throughout the presentation, if you click on the image of our most recent Pegasus magazine, you'll be taken to our archives, and you can look for an upcoming edition this spring. And if you click on any of these 5 colored squares under new web pages, you'll get to see elements of our school site that are new this year. So we have a capital campaign web page most recently. There's a parent education page, Dad's Basketball, Peg Love, Peg Service, again, all really great ways to get involved. Thank you so much for your time and attention this morning. Next up, we have Mr. Lopez to talk about campus facilities and environment. Thank you.
Thank you, Jen, and others to share these really important and significant developments. One thing that is certainly significant, especially as you look around the room here, and you'll notice as one of our new website pages rather, is the development we've had in terms of our plans for building. So even around the room, you can see some of our boards that highlight our plans as we move forward with our capital campaign. In the campaign, you'll see, in the building project rather, you'll see that we're actually planning for 2 phases of this building. The first phase will actually be our Science and Technology Center. You'll see boards around the room, and again here on the screen and on the website, images of our Science and Technology Center, which of course begins with a parking lot build. As you know, being the independent school that we are, the responsibility for a build is left to the school itself. So we're actually in a campaign, and as you see, one of the clickable sites there on our little logo is how are we doing on our campaign? In other words, we have these great plans and the images, and we're moving forward with our building plans, but how are we doing as far as raising the money for the build and also the timeline in the corner there? What's exciting about this is that it's happening. It's right in front of us, meaning that in June, 2 days after, it's actually the day after graduation, we'll be sectioning off the northern half of our campus, and it will become a construction site. We're going to build a new parking lot over the summer to be reopened, as it has to, on Labor Day, so that the day after Labor Day you can all bring your children back to school. And then over the course of next school year, we will be building the Science and Technology Building, which actually has 14 classrooms, including, let's see if I can get this back, 14 classrooms, including 7 that are science and technology rooms, and 7 that will be other classrooms. For example, the language classes and a number of middle school classes. Music class will also be in that new building. So I started by talking about our plans ahead and how far we've moved forward on those. But really, I also don't want to forget the time, energy, and the money that we have put into our existing plans. So each year, as we'll hear about in just a minute, each year we've put dollars aside to make improvements on our existing buildings and enhance our technology. Everything from, as you can see in one of the photos here, always choosing a grade level and putting new furnishings in a grade level, enhancing our technology programs. As you can see, some of our students there using the robotics programming that and equipment that we've added. So it's not just the future build, but it's been every year. This year, in fact, we'll spend $300,000 on campus improvements, including building, facilities, and technology. So how do we do this as we move forward? Having a sustainable future is important. It's great to have these goals. It's great to have the programs that we've heard about. But as we think about this, moving on into the future, our 6th priority, or our 6th pillar, is entirely about how we're going to fund this and how we're going to take care of our responsibilities going forward. So next up, we'll have Brian Cullen, our board chair, join us to talk about sustainability and moving ahead. Brian?
Good morning. So, as Jason said, the sustainable future, it's kind of the combination or the consolidation of all the other 5 priorities. And basically, the intent of the sustainable future part of the strategic plan is to ensure that we have the means and methods to remain relevant in the marketplace and have a curriculum and a school that is relevant, and that our brand is relevant, and that we believe in our brand and we believe in our mission. And also that we have the financial security and the assurances and the wherewithal to be able to meet the plans that are outlined between pillars 1 through 5. So goal 6.1, we spent quite a bit of time in the last year on branding and our market and our, how we sort of view our school. And let me just move forward here. So, what we did is we, to be relevant in the marketplace and really focus on our brand, we created a brand advisory committee of our board led by Zim, and Toshi's a big part of that, where we really focus on the why behind Pegasus, what the brand is, why people come to the school, and what our mission statement is. And with that, within the branding analysis, we're really dissecting and looking at the mission statement and really digging into the reasons why people choose Pegasus in the first place, why people stay at Pegasus, and so on. And then how do we make sure that we remain relevant going forward into programs such as financial aid, investing in facilities. We've spent $1.4 million over the last 4 years just on facilities and just maintaining the relevance of the school and maintaining the upkeep of the school. So, the relevance and the branding side of the school is very important to us in the sustainable future part. So looking at the mission statement, we formed this brand advisory committee, and we've been conducting surveys to really make sure that we're on track. We've had a survey of the teachers, we've had a survey, and a recent survey that we just announced for the parents, so we'd ask you all to respond to that. So it's key to gather this information, make sure that we're a competitive and relevant school in the marketplace is key for a sustainable future. And then the next part that we've been working on over the last year or so is the financial security of the school. And with that, as we went through the strategic plan and as we went through our recent accreditation with the California Association of Independent Schools, a major recommendation was to make sure that we had a long-term financial plan. So over the past year, we've really spent a lot of time building out that financial plan to make sure that we can meet all the obligations and all the needs of the school over the next 5 years and beyond. So that's been completed, and we're very happy with that. And to let everybody know, the school is in a very solid financial position. We've built strong reserves. We have a program here, what we call PRISM, which is a funding mechanism that we invest into the facilities, and every year we reserve and build up the reserves so that we can maintain the health and the well-being of the physical school. And I'm not going to go through all these individual bullet points, but I would say in general, the school over the last few years has thrived. We've built solid reserves. We're in a great financial position to meet the future needs of the school and to meet all the obligations under the strategic plan. And then I would also say that one of the things that we've worked hard in the last year is to increase the transparency and what we're working on within the board. And thanks to Edie and Christina, we've been able to give more updates as to the progress that we're making through the board in each of the Pegasus posts. And of course, in there, please contact us at any time to send me an email or send Eric an email if you have any questions about what we're doing. So with that, hand it off to Jason.
Last two things to discuss. One is just a big thank you. I know Jen said it earlier as she was referring to the things that we do with annual fund and with donations. I just wanted to show some incredible progress here as we've moved forward. This has been our annual fund over the last few years. You'll notice a great spike last year. We really wanted to hone our efforts on the annual fund because of the things that we're able to do, the fact that we're able to afford experienced, excellent, outstanding faculty when we have one move on or retire. Our annual fund is what prepares us to do that. Our annual fund this year, the big change, of course, as you know, is that we've taken PTO and brought them within that, let our PTO folks focus on the things that they do so well, and that is take care of our teachers, some of the fun that we had before, and build those relationships even with families. So we made an effort last year to grow the annual fund. We were also doing it in preparation as we were doing a run-up to our capital campaign. So I show this slide. One is just a thank you for your support and for what you're doing for annual fund, and also as a lead-in to the last thing I want to talk about. Last night I had the opportunity to have the community, and I mean the neighborhood community, in the room. They came in last night to hear a little bit about our building plans and what lies ahead. And I thought it was significant. One of the neighbors asked the question. She said, I remember back in the day when you didn't have a fence around the place and we used to be able to access and use your playgrounds and play spaces. And it kind of set me aback for just a moment, thinking, well, what has changed? And as I responded to her, I explained the thing that's changed this my 30th year in education, the most significantly, and I would say over the last 5 years, is the importance of school safety and security. So there was a day, maybe you remember, there was a day when there wasn't a fence around the entire place. There was a day when we weren't wearing name badges. There was a day when we didn't really think about these things so often. I can tell you that that day is long gone. I explained to the neighbor that while I'm sorry the neighborhood children don't have access to our playgrounds and play spaces, the reason for that is simple, and that is that we need to make sure that our campus is safe and secure. And so part of those annual fund dollars are what goes towards providing for this safety and security. And so some numbers that you see up there are important not only for now, but as we move forward into the new build. Knowing that we have 11 working video cameras with recording ability. In fact, it was interesting. One of the neighbors said, when there was a problem at my house, we called the school and your cameras were able to identify what happened, where there was a break-in, what time, and we provided assistance even to the neighbors across the street. So she was able to understand the importance and the value that it brings, not only to our own safety and security, but that safety and security that our neighborhood enjoys as well. In addition to that, this past summer, we were able to install 52 emergency buttons so that in every classroom, if there is a problem, a concern, something goes wrong, teachers have immediate access to be able to contact the office. And it is not just a an emergency button, but it's also a communication button, so that if there is a problem within a classroom, we have immediate access to find out what's going on, how we can help, and certainly we would be able to provide that to any emergency services that come in and need this. As we go forward, we're going to be using these same efforts as we build the new building. It will also include cameras. It will include safety or emergency buttons in each room. And as we have for years, practiced our safety and security drills on a regular basis. We have a strong partnership with our local police force. In fact, even police forces in surrounding communities we've invited on, and they help us make sure that the safety and security of our campus is certainly our top priority and our top goal. This concludes our second annual State of the School. Thank you very much for coming this morning. Thank you.